legacy of Chien Wu continues to inspire and support women in science today. Her courageous fight against sexism highlighted the importance of challenging gender biases and advocating for equal representation. Her contributions paved the way for increased recognition of women scientists, leading to the rise in the number of women pursuing careers in STEM fields. Additionally, her experiences sparked important conversations about gender equality within scientific institutions, and she prompted changes in policies and practices. Today, efforts are being made to address gender disparities in funding, promotions, and leadership positions. Many organizations and institutions have implemented initiatives to provide mentorship, networking, and support systems specifically targeted at women in science. And very similar to gender stereotypes, racism has been a long, deeply rooted issue in society, and this has permeated various sectors, such as the scientific community. And despite the adversity that Wu faced, her determination and resilience helped break down these racial barriers, and she also inspired future generations of people of color. Wu also faced two instances of racism when she was at Princeton University and when she was at Columbia University. So when Wu applied to Princeton University's graduate program, she initially faced rejection solely based on her ethnicity. And this was despite her impressive academic credentials, and she was denied admission due to being an Asian woman. It was only through the intervention of a professor who recognized her talent that she was able to eventually be accepted into this program. Another instance of this was at Columbia University. So while she was actually teaching at Columbia, she faced discrimination in terms of promotion and career development and advancement. So despite her exceptional contributions to the field, she was often overlooked for opportunities and accomplishments, and they were undervalued, especially compared to her male counterparts, and these male peers would get the career advancements over her. And despite these instances of racism, her exceptional talent and resilience enabled her to overcome these obstacles and make significant contributions to the field of physics. And her accomplishments and perseverance continue to serve as a reminder of the systematic racism faced by people of color in the science community and inspire efforts towards creating a more inclusive and equitable scientific community.
Shiung Wu simply is a remarkable figure in both Chinese and American history, and really global history. And after years of being dismissed because of her identity as an Asian American and as a woman, Wu is only now receiving proper credit for all her great work. North of Shanghai is a statue of Wu that is 3 stories tall. Yes, it's 3 floors in a building tall. That's how tall the statue is. Wu herself is only just about 5 feet tall. Wu in America is also now receiving similar credit. In 2021, the Postal Services of America created commemorative stamps for Wu, and she was featured on an episode of Jeopardy where she was listed under notable Asian Americans for $800. In a trivia question, quite the honor. Wu, in her time, was very underappreciated, representing an Asian in America at a time when anti-Asian hate was possibly at its highest ever because of World War II and because of Japan at that time. There was Japanese internment camps in America. If you were an Asian American at the time, there was a lot of hate and a lot of racism, a lot of discrimination towards you. And she also worked at a time in which women just would never receive their fair share of the credit. We saw what happened with the Nobel Prize. She never received the Nobel Prize just because she was a woman. It's not fair to her. Wu is one of the most influential physicists of all time, despite this, being able to represent the Asian community, the women community, and through all the discrimination she faced, she still managed to break through with one of the most influential experiments of all time, the Wu experiment. Some of the many nicknames Wu managed to earn over her career are quite prestigious, such as the First Lady of Physics, the Queen of Nuclear Research, and the Chinese Marie Curie. Wu's final years were spent giving back to those in China, America, and Taiwan. I'm going to leave you guys with 2 of Wu's most famous quotes that truly capture the essence of her spirit and the essence of her career as a physicist. Quote, "There's only one thing worse than coming home from the lab to a sink full of dirty dishes, and that is not going to the lab at all." Exclamation point. And, quote, "Beta decay was like a dear old friend. There would always be a special place in my heart reserved for it. Wu truly lived for physics and was especially proud of it. And sometimes that came at the expense of her home life, but for Wu, physics was always the top priority.
Thank you, Dr. Wesley, for watching.